And we're on. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. oh, whatever. But welcome back, everybody. It was working on the stream, so it'll be fine. Anyways, today we'll be doing another top 25 reaction. Brand new top 25. Another reaction to the top 25. So, this week, a lot of new teams in, a lot of teams moving out, a lot of upsets. It's been a crazy college football season so far. So
Top. The top has barely changed. So let's quickly run through the top five. Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon all stay home as the top three. Penn State jumped up to number four, switching places with Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't have the greatest of performances against West Virginia. And then Iowa stagnant at number five. Ahead of the huge Maryland.
that's a Friday night game. That's gonna be good. Yeah.
And then they beat up on an Indiana team that has not looked good. So number five, but when you really take a look at the resume, so it'll be interesting to see how they play at Maryland. The top five, I don't think there's anything wrong with the top five.
Yeah, no. As far as how these teams have played and the teams that they have played, they all deserve to be up here. I mean, they've played well enough to be up here. And as for Iowa, I mean, Indiana, there's no shame in losing to Iowa and Cincinnati for Indiana. They're a solid overall team. I mean, they're 2-2. They've won their other two games. It's very hard to.
Though being a bad Western Kentucky decision away, they were a bad Western Kentucky decision away from potentially losing to Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, why do you punt on 4th and 1 when your defense has done nothing all game? What are you doing? Okay. I still haven't seen enough from Indiana, but yeah, those are respectable losses. Yeah, I don't have any problems with the top five.
Yeah, no, these teams all should be here.
Moving on down, we've got number 6 Oklahoma slipping down 2 spots after another close game against West Virginia. Cincinnati up 1 spot to number 7. Arkansas jumps all the way up 8 spots to the number 8 team in the country after the big win against Texas A&M. Notre Dame jumps up 3 spots to number 9 after absolutely eviscerating Wisconsin in the fourth quarter. And then Florida jumps up 1 spot from Texas A&M falling down. Again, I don't really have any qualms with this. Notre Dame and Arkansas deserve to jump into the top 10 after the games they played. Cincinnati staying home, Oklahoma slipping just a little bit, and then I believe Florida should be higher than Ohio State because Florida's one loss is much more impressive than Ohio State's one loss. Not that Oregon's a bad team to lose to at home, but Florida played neck and neck with what everybody presumes to be the best team in the country. So, no qualms there.
Yeah, these teams all have. Cincinnati is obviously a very good team. Arkansas's resume is just unbelievable. And Notre Dame, obviously, they just had their big win against Wisconsin. We'll see what all those teams are made of as or Arkansas will be playing Georgia, and Cincinnati and Notre Dame are going head to head. So
Yeah.
those are two big matchups, and then Bama has their own big contest with Ole Miss sitting there at number 12. So
This week is going to be crazy.
it's going to be a very, very good week. So
I know.
stay tuned. Stay tuned for our game picks. So we actually upped it up to 25. That's because of how many good games there were this week to get in as many good ones as we could.
And now that we're in conference play, there's really not many bad games.
Yeah, but just because of this week, there's so many primetime games, we upped it up to 25 so we could cover all the other really good conference games as well as those big time primetime games to go along with it. But yeah, I have zero problems with where they have everybody ranked here. I mean, obviously, like I said, Arkansas deserves to be where they are. Notre Dame seems to have grown out of their very early growing pains. Florida played with Bama, so they automatically deserve to be up there. The Buckeyes have looked kind of unimpressive all year long, but they keep winning games. So, I mean,
I was about to say now number 11 through 15. The Ohio State Buckeyes, number 11, who had a linebacker. I don't know if he was a linebacker. Some player on the defense just decided to quit mid game, and that
it
was
was a
hilarious.
linebacker,
That was hilarious.
Keyshawn Pope, something Pope, I think.
Kevon Pope. That was hysterical. We got number 12, Ole Miss at number 12, coming in at number 12. I mean, going into the big week against Alabama. So that's going to be a big one. BYU slowly keeps creeping up at number 13. Michigan jumps up 5 spots to number 14 after a close battle with Rutgers. I mean, it makes sense. I don't think they should be the 14th best team, but at this point in time, being only 4 weeks in, you have to give precedence to teams that haven't lost, even if it's been not pretty at some points. They haven't lost. Teams above them lost. So that's kind of, I think, the reasoning behind that. I don't know if that's the true ranking, but just kind of got to give precedence to the teams that haven't lost. That's just my way. And then Texas A&M falling to number 8 or number 15, falling 8 spots to number 15, which I mean makes sense. They lost to Arkansas, which is a good team. They also almost lost to Colorado, who got blanked by Minnesota, who lost to Bowling Green. So not that that correlates because everything's about matchups, but I just find that hilarious. I don't really have any issues with the top 15 either. Because I don't see anybody behind Michigan that I would even put above them. I don't see anybody in these rankings that I would put above anyone in the top 15.
I mean, for
Not yet,
me,
at least.
honestly, after seeing Michigan last week, it's like, how can you put them up another 5 spots?
Again, it's because teams lost above them. Who behind them would you put above them?
Uh, well, I mean, I like Texas A&M's team better than Michigan, honestly.
Yeah, but they did also just lose and almost lose to Colorado. So you can say the same thing about them. We barely beat Rutgers. They barely beat a bad Colorado team. So you can say things about every team. It's only 4 weeks in, so I think they're giving precedence to the 4-0 more so than anything. Outside of maybe Texas A&M, I don't think I can put anybody behind us above us. Who's close to Carolina? Kansas. Oh, Michigan State played close in overtime to Nebraska. Fresno State, maybe I can see, but that's also a really high jump for a Power Five or non-Power Five school. So I'm okay with it. I don't think that's where they're like. I don't think we're really the best team in the country, but as of what we've seen thus far, I'm not too mad about it. And moving on, we've got number 16 goes to Carolina. Michigan State jumping up to number 17 after a thriller Nebraska. Nebraska, where was that punt coverage going, by the way? The punt coverage went this way. The punter had one job to kick it this way and kicked it that way. It was the funniest
They're
thing.
bad.
Well, Nebraska's good-ish.
No,
They're
they're not.
decent.
No, they're
They're
not. They're bad.
they're not the bottom of the Big Ten, at least. No. They didn't lose at home to Bowling Green. They're not as bad as Illinois or Northwestern.
Minnesota's a giant wild card, and they lost to Illinois.
Yeah, but that was also week 0. I think it was because of week 0. I think if those two teams played each other right now, I think Nebraska could beat them.
Oh, no.
Who knows? After you get past like Rutgers and the Big Ten, it's all just a wild card for whoever you choose. Fresno State at number 18, Oklahoma State jumping into the rankings at number 19, and UCLA rounding out the top 20. Again, I don't really have any issues. There's nobody behind these guys that I put above them. I mean, maybe Baylor over UCLA because that LSU win doesn't look as good anymore. But also, the Iowa State win doesn't look as good either for Baylor. So I don't know. I don't really have any qualms with it.
No, yeah, I'd say the exact same thing. I mean, you look at Oklahoma State; they kind of had a Notre Dame esque start to the year. They kind of struggled their way through. They kind of slugged their way through the first 3 weeks of the year, barely beating Missouri State, barely beating Tulsa, and then getting a close win on the road against Boise State, and then they head home against Kansas State and pretty much handle them. They never
And
really had a problem in that game. So
I
they,
mean, I know it was Will Howard, but it's still a Power Five team. Depending on it is a Will Howard team, but
I
it's still a
mean,
Power
Oklahoma
Five team.
State. It's kind of the same thing for Oklahoma State as it is Notre Dame. They started out very slow, and as the season progressed, they just kept getting better. They worked through the growing pains, and now here they are, 4-0. And
Yeah,
actually, Oklahoma State Baylor is another matchup this coming week.
should be
So,
great. And
just another big time matchup. And as for Baylor, they look very good too. I mean, they didn't play anybody to start off the year. They won all their games pretty handily. Then they play Iowa State and they end up beating them. I mean, Iowa State's a pretty good team. I mean, they're not ranked now, but that's still a very solid overall team. Iowa State, Brees Hall, Brock Purdy at quarterback and running back. That's a nice 1-2 combo, and those two really both can play. So I'm very excited for that Oklahoma State Baylor game. I think that's going to be a dogfight. Personally, I like Oklahoma State. I think every single year, Oklahoma State is seriously underrated. They always say, they're not that great. And every time they always prove to everybody that they're much better than everyone says they are. And I love Spencer Sanders. He is a very good quarterback, but that's just me. And then UCLA, they lost to Fresno, who also looks very good. So it's like, yeah, I have zero issues with with
yeah,
all
and
these
then
rankings.
rounding out the top 25, we got Baylor at 21, Auburn at 22, scare against Georgia State. NC State up to 23 after the win against Clemson, Wake Forest 24, and Clemson at 25, which that bottom three I do not like at all. I am not a fan of the bottom three. I think Wake Forest should be above NC State. I think the fact that they're 4-0, yes, they haven't played as good of teams, but I think the fact that they're 4-0 should take precedence. I think NC State should still be ranked at 24, and I don't think Clemson should be ranked. I think that's just recency bias from how good Clemson's been. Not that Clemson is a good team. They're okay. Their offense is not good. Their defense is really, really otherworldly. Their offense is not good. And it comes to who would I put above them, I could see one of two or three teams. Either Texas, Boston College, or potentially Maryland. I think Texas more over. You look at Clemson, their losses would be number 23 NC State and number 2 Georgia. That's 2 losses. A Texas team that just put up 70 points at Texas Tech and plus is to now number 8 team in the country. It's not like Arkansas is a nobody. They're 3-1 with a really good loss. I mean, it is a bad looking loss, but so is Clemson and NC State. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's the 25th spot. I'm not gonna throw a fit about it. I don't know. I don't think Clemson should be in there as 2-2 when there's a bunch of other really good 3-1 or 4-0 teams.
Well, I mean, for me, honestly, why is Auburn in the top 25? What are they still doing here?
They've been
Honestly, they're not good. They're an okay team. They even benched their starting quarterback. They benched Bo Nix. Seriously, what are they doing in the top 25? Why is Maryland not in the top 25? That's what I can't understand. They have looked very good this season. They're undefeated. What are they not doing in here? Clemson, I would put them ahead of honestly. I would say probably put Clemson at 24, move those three up, and then put Maryland at 25. Auburn should not be ranked.
I love how we were just like, all right, AP 1 through 20, we have no issues with you. 21 through 25, 22 through 25, we got to talk. We got to talk anymore. You guys are messed up. So Mitch would have it. Mitch would have it. NC State, Wake Forest, Clemson, Maryland with no Auburn.
Yeah.
I would probably have it Wake Forest, NC State, or it would probably be Wake Forest, NC State, Texas, Maryland, or Wake Forest, Maryland, Texas, NC State. Those 4 teams drop Clemson and Auburn out, and then give me Texas and Maryland added. But Wake Forest, my big thing is Wake Forest should be above NC State. I know they beat Clemson. Has that really looked like a challenge this year, though? I think a lot of teams have a shot against Clemson. I think Wake Forest has a shot to win the Atlantic this year. But the only sucky thing is they are in death now. So I don't know if they'll do it. But they could. They have Syracuse on the road. Never mind. Wake Forest is losing to Syracuse on the road.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, Syracuse does have a top defense, so I mean, yeah.
We beat Liberty. And our running back is in the top 5 of RG3's Heisman winners. So they're not a terrible team. They're not a good team. Don't get me wrong. I feel a lot better about Syracuse now that Rutgers looks really good. Rutgers looks pretty good. So I feel a lot better about Syracuse than us being to Rutgers. And it was a good game throughout most of it. It was I shouldn't say. It was the third quarter and it was still tied at 0-0. That was not a fun game to watch. But
and of course,
other than that, I don't really have too much stuff for the top 25. It is what it is. I don't think there's too much craziness. Oh, and dropped out of the rankings. Iowa State dropped out after losing to Baylor. Wisconsin dropped out after getting smoked by Notre Dame. North Carolina dropped out after getting absolutely smoked by Georgia Tech. The absolute most bipolar football team. Period. They can just look so dominant against Virginia and then just go to Georgia Tech. Ooh, may I remind you? I think didn't they lose to Northern Illinois?
they did. 22-21.
May I remind you? Georgia Tech lost to Northern Illinois. North Carolina went to play Georgia Tech and got not even close. They got smothered. It makes no sense. And then Kansas State dropping because they lost, which makes sense. North Carolina.
I don't know.
Alright, well, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it for this video. Wish you got any other final thoughts?
I mean, no, I mean, obviously, we were talking about the bottom half here that just is like, what the heck? I mean, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And then I look at the teams getting votes. I mean, I would say Maryland should be ranked. Texas, yeah, I don't know about the Longhorns. I mean, I guess maybe. San Diego State getting 57 votes is a little interesting. I didn't realize until now, I just looked recently, Brady Hoke is actually their head coach. They're 4-0 with Brady Hoke as the head coach.
Okay, see, I will die on this hill. I will say until Jim Harbaugh Brady Hoke was a better coach. Ohio State once. If anything, granted, it was a 6-6 Ohio State team. He still beat Ohio State. Jim Harbaugh has failed to do that. So he's not as bad as Rich Rod. If Rich Rod is a coordinator or coach on your team, you might as well pack up.
He's at UL Monroe, I think.
Oh yeah, that team is absolutely terrible. That makes sense. It would be a match in heaven. Imagine this: UConn football, head coach Rich Rodriguez, defensive coordinator Don Brown.
Oh gosh.
Art Sikowski is the starting quarterback.
Offensive coordinator is Pep Hamilton.
That would be the worst team I've ever witnessed. No. The starting quarterback, Sean O'Korn.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Alright, I think that's it for our rankings video now that we're done making fun of UConn. Yep,
that's going to be it for us. So, we'll see you next time. You want to see the latest video or whatever, I'm not even going to do anymore. I'm just going to keep putting it up there. It's on there. You know where to hit it. So, that'll be it for us. Until next time, adios, everyone.